Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here, and welcome to round 6 of the F125 Cadillac Road to Glory. And in the last episode, we got ourselves our, I think, second, well, technically third podium of the season if you count the Miami Sprint. And it was a P3 behind the home race winner, Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton. What a podium that is. So Jarno getting himself on the podium, puts himself ahead of Colapinto on points, and it puts us 1 point ahead of Mercedes, and now in a rivalry as well. And we aren't too far ahead of Aston Martin, so it's going to be a very, very intense race weekend. I can tell you that for a fact. In development, we are now up there. I don't know how we've developed so quickly, but we are now up there. We are, however, as of recording this and doing the voiceover, at a point where we need to now unlock the breakthroughs to get more upgrades, and we need to start spending all of our R&D points per upgrade. So it takes us we get like 1 upgrade per race, whereas since I've been cooking and firing, we've been doing maybe 3 or 4 upgrades per race or per couple races, which has just been flying us up there in development. We were just behind Aston Martin at the start of this whole thing, I think, pretty sure, or just ahead, and now we are literally up there with Mercedes, and at a point in this episode we will be the quickest car. And we had loads of R&D points, so we were just buying these little upgrades. We had all of them, and now we're up to the major upgrades now. So it's taken longer to get them on the car. We don't have all the upgrades locked. But this is the Canadian Grand Prix. I haven't even mentioned that. This is normally and historically a good track for me. So straight into quali we go, setting a lap time, which only puts us just ahead of Otmar. But I know I could do better. Already 2 temps up through the first sector. As we head into the middle sector, we take that quite nicely, to be fair. Get a good run out of that corner, which gives us the momentum, gains us a little bit of time. 2.5 temps up as we come towards this corner, which is a struggle one. If you nail it though, there's so much time to be found here, and on this occasion we take it much better. A better entrance, better line, but the exit wasn't as good, so we use a bit of ERS to regain that lap time. So we're now 3.5 temps up, and now we go into the final corner. And yeah, I didn't cut it as much as I know I could. And on the first run and on the second run, that gains us 3 temps, which puts us 7 temps up on our previous best. By the time we get to the end of the session, we're only in P12, which isn't terrible, but considering we're now just behind Mercedes, we're expecting to be top 8, top 10 at least. And I know quality's a little bit crazy sometimes, but we have now set a purple first sector, 3.5 temps up in the first sector alone, and we take that much better than last time as well. We're now 5 temps up as we head up into the hairpin. One of the hardest corners of the track, I'd say, easily. Can we get a good exit out of it? We were 5 temps up. We're now 6.5 temps up. We're now 7 temps up. We're finding just time and time in this lap. Here we go, onto the back straight. We've got plenty of ERS left to use as well. This could be pole position. I've got to say, this is a fantastic lap so far. 7.5 temps up. Can we nail the Wall of Champions? We don't get anywhere near the Wall of Champions, but we lose a 10.5, 2 temps through that corner. Let's see where it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be pole. It's 7th. We only gained 5 positions from a 7-temp improvement. But, sorry, 5 temps, because it should have been 7 temps, but we lost 2 temps. Where would that 2 temps have put us? That 2 temps would have put us, I actually don't know. Is it going to show me? Or am I just going to skip through it? Because we definitely should have had another 2 temps in that lap. That is disappointing. Those 2 temps would have put me potentially as high as 4th. But we're going to take 7th. Not a bad result in quali. And we're going to head into the race with the knowledge that we do have a little bit of pace in the car this weekend. Potentially a podium on the cards, maybe, if we've got a good race pace. But let's get into the starting grid.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, and Colapinto, Sainz, Tsunoda, Stroll, and Gabriel Bortoleto, Ocon, Doohan, Alex Albon, and Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Gasly, Liam Lawson, and Ollie Behrman, Hulkenberg, Opmeer, Antonelli, and Isaac Hadjar. Alongside me here in the commentary box today, former race.
So lads, I remember from my practice programs that the tyre wear wasn't bad at all. I think it was about 4% per lap on softs, I think. So I'm pretty confident that we can get a one stop today, which is nice. So we are just going to swap round the tyres and do a medium hard instead of a hard medium. And we're just going to see how we do. There is supposed to be some rain at the end of this race as well. So if we go onto the mediums, we can then adjust the stints depending on when the rain's going to come. If it's going to come sooner, we could go onto softs and go longer and just have better race pace up until the wet weather. Or we can go a bit earlier and go onto the hards and things like that. It just gives us that adjustability. So let's see what everyone else is on. We swapped onto the mediums. A lot of other drivers here clearly are on hards. I'm the only driver inside the top 8 on the medium compounded tyres, with Sean Bortoletto 9th and 10th on the mediums as well. A couple drivers on softs, Jack Doohan and Pierre Gasly, the Alpines. My teammate in P20 all the way down there is on the hard compounded tyres. So let's see. It's a bit of a variation, which is good. Norris on pole, Verstappen P2, Russell P3, Leclerc Piastri, and then myself because of a grid penalty to someone, I think it's Lewis Hamilton. That has put us 6th for the start of this race, which is good. Canada's always a track I enjoy. My race pace is normally decent around here, as long as I can break that DRS of cars around. Let's see how we do. My starts are normally okay around here as well, but it's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure. And with a bit of rain potentially coming at the end, with me not having the best wet weather performance ever on this game, basically I'm awful in the wet. Let's see how we can do. We need enough track position before the wets come if we are going to be awful. But it's going to be 5 red lights for the Canadian Grand Prix. And it is lights out and away we go. A very long hold there, but the initial phase is good. The second phase is alright as well. We are going to be put under pressure into turn 1 by Carlos Sainz. Potentially no, but we have to sit behind those cars. Someone come launching at my inside there. I think that was Sainz. Just came launching at my inside. Shut the door on him. No damage to any drivers. And we just stay in P6. A bit of a standstill start. Nothing really happening. But by the time we get to the end of lap 1, on lap 1 we managed to get past Charles Leclerc, who was fighting with Piastri, and because of their fighting I was able to sneak through somewhere. I somehow forgot to record it, but just a very scruffy lap 1. Getting a tyre on the grass edge really wasn't helpful, but because we're getting attacked by Leclerc, we are going to have to dump the ERS, and we know he's not going to be able to make a move here. This is one of my strongest corners of the lap, and yeah, we're just able to keep the position. And that gives us actually a pretty good run to go for the move on Oscar Piastri. Here we are, going from right to left, showing Lando how it's done, diving down the inside of Oscar Piastri, and on our mediums up into P4, just behind George Russell in the Mercedes. But by the time we get through to lap 4, we are stuck behind Oscar Piastri once again. Piastri got me again, and we weren't able to make any inroads on Russell, so it looks like at the minute we're fighting for P4. Unless something happens. Again, getting that tyre on the grass, and Leclerc just comes sailing through. And now there's Carlos Sainz 7 tenths behind. Are we going to fight this with Leclerc? Sorry, this is Sainz. Leclerc's fallen miles back. Sainz on a really, really good run at the minute. He's just got past Leclerc. He's got good pace, clearly, and he's coming after me now. But because of being able to stay ahead of Sainz, we got a good run through that corner. We send it down the inside of Oscar Piastri and up into P4 once again. It seems like, for me, that P3 potentially is gone, as now Russell is 2 seconds up the road. Piastri goes through there. We get such a bad run off the corner before that first DRS straight up the lap. It's just really frustrating. So the AI comes, and we've got DRS failure. Brilliant. Even better. DRS failure, just what we needed. In a race where we need DRS, we don't have DRS. That's just fantastic. So, yeah. Cheers for that game. So let's see if it's going to fix itself or if we're going to lose more positions. By the time we get through to lap 7, we are no longer within the DRS range of Piastri. Clearly that has cost us a bit too dear, that lack of DRS wing ability. And through goes Carlos Sainz and up into P5. He goes, we're now back down to where we started P6. And here comes Yuki Tsunoda, and Leclerc dropped behind Tsunoda. But he's also now looking to come through. I think Leclerc's got even worse race car than me, which is mental. But Leclerc is now fighting Tsunoda, and both of them look like they're going to come flying past me. And there's no expected rain yet. You would expect it maybe to be right at the end, but maybe to say 15-20 minutes. But apparently not, as we are now sat behind Tsunoda and Leclerc, 6th and 7th, and we're down to P8. And now Lance Stroll's putting us under pressure. I've had enough. I've seen enough. Clearly there's something going on. Maybe it's the mediums or something, but there's just a lack of pace from me at the minute, and it's not ideal. I know my components are a bit worn but it's just really not ideal. So let's go for that undercut, get onto hards, hopefully do 15 laps on the hards, and then maybe the rain will come. And if not, panic to stop, I guess, is going to be the play. Maybe onto softs and risk it to the end. So let's see what happens. We come out in P19, just behind Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull, but we're going to look to make swift work of him. By the end of the first lap, while getting the tyres warmed up, we get down the inside into the hairpin and up into P18. And now we've got Ollie Bear, my teammate Jono Otmir just ahead of us, still yet to box. The DRS has fixed itself, which is good. And yeah, we're in the DRS range of the cars ahead, just looking to get our tyres integrated into this stint and up positions. Maybe with a cheeky undercut, but we get a good run here on our teammate, and our teammate shouldn't put up much of a fight. Is he going to let us through? Kind of. Doesn't put up much resistance, which is good, and allows us to go sailing up into P15 with a few drivers pitting. And we have now got Antonelli in the Mercedes next. Wow, he's having a really shocking season, let alone race. But we get down the inside of Antonelli, absolutely launch it as we touch the back of Ollie Behrman. But we should get points this race, 100%. But it's just what we can do outside of that. I just don't think it's going to be a very good race for us. Ollie Behrman, just ahead of us, on his hards. I think Sainz has boxed as well now, which is just absolutely crazy, the fact that we're 4 seconds behind him. But him pitting puts us off, and it causes us to exceed track limits. So, yeah, by the time a few more drivers pit, we're up into P9. Oh my god, we're retiring.
Find a safe space to retire or return to the... I repeat, find somewhere to retire the car immediately. It's too dangerous to stay on track.
Oh, that is just so frustrating. We are out of the Canadian Grand Prix on lap 14. We were looking good easily for points. I don't know what was going to happen in that race, but it could have been a good one if we'd have locked in and started pulling off some decent laps. But I guess we'll never know now, as we have retired with a mechanical failure from the Canadian Grand Prix.
True show of character to fight through the grid the way they did, to not get beat down by starting so far down, and to come back and win it all. Just goes to show how strong this driver is.
And it's time for that special moment for our special 3 today. The podium awaits our top 3 finishers. One of the all-time greats celebrates yet again. It's another podium, it's another top step for Max Verstappen.
You know what's frustrating, guys? In the end, it didn't even go to wet. Most people managed to just do a 1-stop. Norris with a 2-stop ended up 8 seconds off the lead. It's a bit of a poor strategy from him, but look, it didn't even get to the interconditions. So, in the end, it's a really disappointing race. I definitely think we could have got 7th in that race, but it just, you know, it just hands Mercedes some constructors' points on us. So I think Mercedes now overtake us in the constructors' standings, which isn't great, as Otmir only finishes P19, only gaining a position because I retired. Almost a lap down was Otmir. And just a very poor race. I know my components were worn and stuff, and obviously that's why we retired, but like, the paces was awful, that race, which is just really, really disappointing. And that is going to be it for... No, I'm joking. This video is clearly 30 minutes long, which means you are going to see the whole of the Austrian Grand Prix within this video as well. No longer a sprint race on F125. And therefore, I've decided, hey, let's not miss out on having a full race in a video. And let's just do the Austrian Grand Prix as well. Why on earth not? It could be fun. And let's get it in there. We are now doing a training thing for the owner thing. Still don't really know how this works. I'll be honest with you. I just autofill activities nowadays. Got no idea. And yeah. But the Austrian Grand Prix, historically for me, is my best circuit. So I'm actually excited to see what we can do. It's up there with like Spa and Vegas, which are very straight line based tracks. We are going to be driving as Otmir as well this weekend, considering Colapinto just was who we just drove with. And I know it wasn't a proper full weekend, so we could have done back-to-back Colapinto, and I wouldn't have minded. But technically, we don't want that Juju coming over to Jarno. So Jarno's already had his retirement as well, which is good. But I am optimistic for this race weekend. It should be a very, very good Grand Prix for us. And we should finish in the points. Maybe even get a podium potentially. I've got the ambition about this Grand Prix because it is such a good Grand Prix for me. And yeah, after all of that, I mean, it's a bit disappointing really, isn't it? That we retired. But we have a lot of upgrades coming on for Austria. We've got to just look forward. We've got to see what we can do. So, after practice, we ended up finishing on top of practice by 8/10 over Lando Norris on the mediums, and we managed to get most of our things done. And to be honest with you, I was like, it's Austria. Let's just get on with this. We can't be dilly-dallying about the gaff. I think we got most of our stuff done anyway, I'm pretty sure. So let's just get straight in to qualifying. And I've just proven that we are still on 105. So if I win this race by 20 seconds, it's just because Austria is that good of a track for me, to be honest with you. But we are, I'm pretty sure now, the second best car on the grid or something ridiculous, at least third or fourth. So it is a bit ridiculous how good we are, and we still have this many R&D points to play with. So by the time we get to Spa, I wouldn't be surprised if we're one of the quickest cars on the grid, if not the quickest. But as you can see, coming through the final sector, it's a bit of a scruffy lap for our first lap in Q, really, innit? But yeah, we didn't improve in the first sector, but through that right-hander at the top of the hill, we gained a 10th.5, which is good. And then coming into sector 2, losing a little bit of time, actually quite a lot of time, almost a 10th there, but we gained it back with a bit of ERS usage. And again, it's just a bit of a scruffy lap. It just doesn't feel like a very good lap. It just feels scruffy. I know it's a purple middle sector, but it's just scruffy. It really is just scruffy. And it's not ideal, but I know there's a lot of time in this last sector if we can hook it up. Here we go. Oh, it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. Again, a bit of a scruffy final sector. We gained a 10th through that last corner, which was really poor last time. It puts us P2, only a 10th behind, but this really needs to be an impressive lap. We're already up by half a 10th on the first sector, which gives us a purple first sector, and we find even more time on the exit at the top of the hill, which puts us now a 10th.5 up. This is very good. We were only a 10th behind Verstappen for pole before. We knew we lost a bit of time here on the last lap, but this time we don't run as wide and we gain even more time. We're now 2.5 tenths up coming into the middle sector, which we already had purple. So let's see what we can do. Nailing that corner, that was beautiful. And again, but it's not purple this time, but it is still improvement. We are now 3.5 tenths up as we come towards the final sector, which we know if we hook up, this could be a very much our first pole for Cadillac. Very good coming through there. Can we nail the final corner? We run a little bit wide, but we get the power down, losing maybe a 10th for the final corner. But is it going to be pole position? The first one of the career? No. We miss out. And I remember at the time I was going, who's pit me? Who on earth has pit me? Jarno misses out on pole. But to who? Yep, that's right. We miss out by a 10th.5 to Lando Norris. I just feel if I'd have nailed that final sector maybe a little bit more, it was possible, but just a very good lap from Lando. A 10th ahead of Verstappen. It gives me hope for the race, so let's see what we can do.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, edging out Jarno Opmeer, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Piastri, George Russell and Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Colapinto, Tsunoda and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Sainz, Gasly and Sir Lewis Hamilton and Stroll, Hülkenberg, Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto and Liam Lawson, Ocon, Doohan, Behrman and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out? And alongside me today...
However, compared to Canada, it doesn't look very likely we'll comfortably do a one-stop. So we're going to go for a two-stop. I feel like I've got enough pace, race pace, to pull off a two-stop and maybe still win the race, potentially. But I don't know for sure. Colapinto, with our upgrades and him now being able to drive himself and it not being me, is P8 on the grid. This could be a double points finish for the boys. Let's see what we can do. This is going to be very interesting, but as you saw there, we want a good a start as possible, so we are going to start on the mediums. I don't think I'm ever going to start on the hards, but we are starting on the mediums, and Norris is on hards, along with Verstappen and Piastri. So the 3 cars in and around us are on hard tyres, which means we have a very good chance off the line of potentially taking the lead of this race. And now I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure we haven't led a lap of this career so far, maybe. So it'll be very, very exciting if we manage to genuinely take the lead on track by overtaking someone and gaining the lead of a Grand Prix. And I think there's a very good chance of that in today's Grand Prix, with as good pace as I have around this circuit and with a good car as we have now. We're lining up on the grid. Norris in front, Verstappen behind, Piastri directly behind. It's going to be very, very interesting. My teammate in P8 as well. Let's see what we can do. Don't know why I've paused, but let's see what we can do. The suspense is building, and there is 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, away we go. We get caught napping a little bit, and we come sliding across to cut off Verstappen. Well done. We come sliding across, not deliberately, but we end up cutting off Verstappen, which means we are still in P2. Norris scampering away. We were caught very much off guard by those 5 red lights going off so quick, and Verstappen and Piastri and Leclerc are fighting behind. They're side by side. There's 3 wide down there. And by the time we actually get to lap 6, that clip ended quite prematurely, but we actually did take the lead. As I said, there was a very good chance of us doing it, and we did it, and now Norris has come back through for the lead, and we're going to fight back. We got the DRS. We made a little bit of contact with Norris, but it's not going to matter. We're going to go round the outside of Lando Norris, and if we can keep the position, we're going to be back up into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, and we do so, and we take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. We had the fastest lap, but now Verstappen's joined the party. We also have Leclerc in the party, but we are 8 seconds clear of George Russell on the mediums, which means we are pretty much guaranteed P4 in this race, which is absolutely amazing. As we are now side by side with Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion. He overtakes us, but he has no DRS, and we do. So we're going to look to retake the lead into the next corner. We're going to go from right to left and go round the outside. We much prefer it. Get the better run. Get on the power nice and early. But Verstappen's going to keep fighting us. We are on the ERS. We are side by side with Verstappen. And we always a little bit of contact. We run Verstappen wide. Are we going to allow Norris? Yes, we do. We push Verstappen wide enough for Norris to come back through. And by the time we get onto lap 9, about to be onto lap 10, we are going to box in. We don't let Verstappen through, but Norris got us eventually. And by the time we lost the DRS, we decided, yep, that's enough. The pace is gone. As I said, the tyre is really bad for me. So we are going to go on to 2 sets of hards. We may have been able to drive through that and do 12 laps, but a 1-stop just definitely wasn't possible. So we are going to 2-stop today. Are we going to have a good pit stop? We haven't gone an episode without a bad pit stop, to be fair, so far. So let's see. It's a good pit stop, and we're straight back out into P18. But obviously no one's pit yet, and the grid was still relatively condensed by that point. So let's see what we can do now on our fresh hard tyres. We're going to get them up to speed and see what damage we can cause. A few people have started pitting. We're in P16, and oh my word, we've almost gone straight into the back of Stroll, having to take evading action, so not getting a warning from the FIA, and we're getting a nice run on Nico Hülkenberg. There are a few drivers in the pits, as we, by a few I mean just George Russell, and we are now right at the back. Oh, a little bit of contact, but not enough to cause damage with Nico Hülkenberg, and we're looking to get up into P13. There should be a slam dunk overtake on Nico. We're on the fresher tyres, and we are the quicker car. And the same moves again, but this time on Pierre Gasly, making him defend and just sliding around the outside where we know we can get easily better traction. And that easily better traction might allow us to get a run on Esteban Ocon as well. We have plenty of ERS to play with, so let's use it and see if we can just make a dive bomb here. Let's see, maybe a bit far back, but we absolutely send it on Esteban and end up making the corner quite nicely in the end. Very, very nice move. But Hamilton and Tsunoda fighting ahead also haven't boxed, as we are now trying to slice our way back through the grid on this undercut. Hamilton and Tsunoda just ahead, sailing through, following Hamilton through, and then just about cutting out ahead of Tsunoda and not making contact and flying around the outside of both drivers. And now we're just behind our teammate Franco Colapinto. Yes, he is ahead of a Ferrari and a Red Bull, which is absolutely amazing. He eventually boxes, and we're now sat behind Piastri on hards, also has not yet boxed. And we're going to go flying past Oscar Piastri. Sorry, hold on a minute, I need to check something. No, that was definitely before my second stop. I was like, hold on a minute, have I made a second stop? No, I definitely haven't made a second stop. But a lot of drivers coming in now, and we are almost going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. But we are up into second. Norris is 12 seconds ahead of us. Been doing a really good job, Lando has. And by the time we get onto the next lap, we are going to be clear of Lando Norris and into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. But we have another stop to make, and Verstappen and Norris behind are on mediums. So the plan is, let them catch up as much as they can, and by the time they're just behind us, we're going to box. So we have a whole pit stop to make up on Verstappen and Norris, who are 1 and 2. And Leclerc and Piastri are 4 and 5 at the minute. We're technically going to be 3 and 4. Those are the 2 drivers we need to get if we want to be on the podium today. So let's see what we can do. Into the pits we come. Oh, I thought it was going to be a dodgy pit stop, but it's not too bad at all. And we are back up and out and in P5 with our teammate just behind us in P6 actually, which is absolutely crazy. Our teammate is the car directly behind us in P6, but a few laps later he is now directly under pressure from Hamilton. I think Colapinto is on a 1 stop and he's just going to get absolutely swarmed. But we are catching Piastri and Leclerc at a rate of knots, which is very, very good. And let's see if we can catch up to them by the end of this race. We've got 10 laps, so we should. And we are setting quite good lap times at the minute, including 2 green sectors on this lap specifically. But we're just pushing it quite hard, using a lot of ERS, trying to maybe set a fastest lap. I think, yep, using hot lap and overtake. So let's see what we can do through the final sector. Bang. And then we need to nail this one. If we want a good exit, we do. And we use the rest of our ERS, and we set a 1:06.7 and the fastest lap. You don't get a point for it, but it's just nice to have and to flex. And by the time, 3 laps later, we're gaining about a second a lap on Piastri and Leclerc. So we are now catching up and have caught up to Oscar Piastri. We're in the DRS of the Australian, and we are looking to retake P4 in this race. We're going to go and just wait for this straight. Just an easy overtake. This should be a slam dunk overtake on Oscar. Although he's in a probably quicker car than me, it should be a slam dunk. We're on the better tyres. So we go straight through and up into P4 with a purple first sector as well. It's really nice. So let's see what we can do. Now we are up behind Leclerc with only 1 lap to go only, to be fair. So Leclerc did manage to hold us off for a lot longer. Leclerc had much better pace than Piastri, clearly. But it's going to be an easy enough overtake round the outside with our better tyres. And we are up onto the podium, which is amazing. But by the time we reach the checkered flag, it's a bit disappointing. We weren't able to make any inroads and maybe convert that front row to a win. But it's still a podium, I guess.
That's a great drive. Thank you.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky 3, it's time to stand on it. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
As I said, a pretty bittersweet race, to be honest. I mean, we managed to get a podium again, which is absolutely amazing, but we started second at one of my best tracks, and we still finished 12 seconds off the lead. And I know we 2-stopped, but it's that tyre wear. We really need to focus on the tyre wear upgrades now. Colapinto gets points, started 8th, finished 10th, so both of us lacked a bit of race pace potentially, and both still getting points is good. But that podium puts us back ahead of Mercedes after a disappointing Canadian Grand Prix, which is amazing to see. And yeah, I'm just overall, we recovered from the disappointment of Canada, really, didn't we? So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's not bad at all. So fan rating goes up. It went down a little bit actually after the last race, but it goes back up after a good result. And there is a couple of menu bits to show you guys, actually. I like to chuck these in every now and again, because why not? But yeah, as we go back to the main menu, we have a development fail. So what you do when a development fails, actually no, we have an engineering facility event, which is cool, I guess. The facility have requested some help. Are we actually going to do that right now? No, we're going to ignore it and redevelop that part that broke. So we need to assign some upgrades. Obviously, you get both on anyway. So if you assign it to one car, when it comes through for the other car, it'll just go straight on. But as you can see there, look, we're pretty much the top performing car, which is absolutely amazing, especially in Otmir's car, which is apparently the better car. So, yeah, absolutely amazing. And there is a couple bits of development we need to do. We need to maybe develop some more aero and chassis parts. We are going to have to spend some R&D now. And we also need to develop our chassis parts as well, so we can get some upgrades on before Spa. Powertrain, have we got much to do there? Yes, we do. We have lots to do in time for the next few races. But we will have a season break soon as well, which is good. And then durability, we've actually started upgrading durability, which I don't normally do. But we decided, why not? Both cars have had mechanical failures already, so maybe we should put that in. And at this point, we're going to have to take grid penalties because of how high the wear is. So overall, just a little bit of menu stuff being shown, and it's not too bad at all. The development of the car is flying. I don't know how long we'll be flying for and if it'll slow down, but it is what it is. And as you can see there, we are the quickest car apparently on the grid going into the Belgian Grand Prix. So that is going to be all for this episode. As you can see, we led the Austrian Grand Prix legitimately on pace for a bit and then completely fell off a cliff and didn't have much pace. I mean, it's the tyre wear. Once we get that tyre wear up, and once I get better at this game, we will be fighting for race wins once again. And yeah, we're now the quickest car on the grid. So coming into Spa, there's a very good chance I think we can win this race if we put it all in and we get a good result.